You ever feel that quiet shift, that cold, sinking feeling in your chest when something about her just changes? She still smiles, but it's different. She still talks, but something feels missing. And you can't explain it, but your gut already knows something is wrong. If you've ever felt that, listen closely, because most men see the signs far too late. The truth is, women rarely cheat impulsively. It doesn't just happen. It builds. It grows silently in the background like a pressure she never admits. And before she crosses that line, her behavior shifts in ways you can't ignore if you know what to look for. I'm not here to make you paranoid. I'm here to open your eyes to patterns men overlook every single day. Because every man who's ever been blindsided by infidelity had one thing in common. The signs were there, but he didn't know how to interpret them. A woman doesn't emotionally disconnect overnight. She slowly moves her heart, piece by piece, thought by thought, inch by inch. And her behavior, what she does, what she avoids, the way she speaks, tells the story long before another man ever enters the picture. What you're about to understand isn't about controlling her or suspecting her. It's about protecting yourself from walking blind into emotional chaos. See, when a woman starts drifting, it's not always because she's found someone new. Sometimes she's starving emotionally. Sometimes she feels invisible. Sometimes she's questioning her worth. And sometimes she's testing how far she can go before you notice she's slipping away. But here's what most men never learn. Cheating doesn't begin with attraction. It begins with neglect, hers or yours. And when a woman reaches that dangerous emotional edge, she starts sending signals, not obvious ones, not dramatic ones, subtle ones you only recognize when your awareness is sharpened. A woman who's about to cheat becomes a different version of herself, not because she wants to hurt you, but because she's drifting into a world where she feels something she's been missing. Attention, validation, excitement, escape, or simply being seen again. If you've ever ignored your intuition before, don't ignore it now. You're here because some part of you wants clarity, not fear, truth, not illusions. And by the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly what to watch for, so you'll never be blindsided again. There's a moment when her energy towards you changes, and most men miss it because they're distracted, or because they don't want to believe what their instincts are screaming. The first major sign she's getting dangerously close to cheating isn't dramatic at all. It's subtle emotional distance. And it doesn't show up as silence. It shows up as inconsistency. She's warm one day, cold the next. Engaged in a conversation this morning, strangely withdrawn tonight. She used to text you back quickly. Now she leaves you on read without explanation. She used to share everything, her frustrations, her thoughts, her dreams. Now you get surface-level updates, nothing deeper. That emotional door she once held wide open, she's closing it by inches, hoping you don't notice. Men often mistake this for stress or mood swings, but a woman's emotional withdrawal is never random. When she stops confiding in you, when she no longer seeks your opinion, when she doesn't look to you for comfort, it means she's subconsciously shifting her trust and her emotional investment somewhere else. Maybe she's just imagining life without you. Maybe she's opening up to someone new. Or maybe she's simply creating space for the possibility. Another sign. She stops arguing. Yes, when a woman is invested, she argues because she cares. She debates, she expresses, she reacts, because your bond still matters. But when she's nearing the point of cheating, she becomes strangely calm, detached. She no longer fights for the relationship because emotionally she's already stepping out of it. That quiet acceptance is far more dangerous than anger ever was. You'll also notice she becomes more protective of her time, not because she's necessarily doing anything wrong yet, but because she's creating a life outside of you. She fills her schedule. She becomes too busy. She starts saying things like, "I just need space," or "I want more independence," or "I'm finding myself." These are not always lies. They're warnings that she is emotionally drifting, and someone else may soon fill that emotional vacuum. And here's something men rarely acknowledge. Before a woman cheats physically, she cheats emotionally. She creates fantasies. She imagines different possibilities. She mentally detaches from the version of you she once admired. And as that emotional gap widens, her loyalty becomes fragile. When she begins pulling away emotionally, she's not just distancing herself from conflict, she's distancing herself from commitment. And that, more than anything, is the first alarm bell. One of the most unsettling signs she's getting close to cheating is when she suddenly becomes hyper-focused on her appearance, but not for you. A woman who's drifting away starts reinventing herself, piece by piece, often without even realizing why. New clothes, new hairstyle, new makeup routine, new gym schedule, but none of it is shown to you first. None of it is for your admiration. She's preparing herself for the attention of someone else, or the possibility of it. This transformation isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as her spending more time in front of the mirror, being more selective with her outfits, or wearing things she never cared about before. Suddenly she needs new perfume. She's taking selfies and posting them, even when she's not a photo person. She becomes more active on social media, more responsive to comments, more protective of her notifications. Women are intentional with their image, and when that image starts shifting away from your influence, it's a signal. Then there's the shift in her routine. She starts going places without you, coffee shops, gyms, events, girls' nights, or new hobbies she never showed interest in before. A woman doesn't cheat alone in her room. She cheats when she builds a new world where you don't exist. These new spaces become emotional incubators for new attention, new validation, new temptation. And she won't admit it, but she feels alive there in a way she no longer feels with you. And here's a hard truth most men ignore. When she starts comparing you, silently or openly, to other men, she's unveiling her internal conflict. She comments on how confident another man is. She laughs a little too long at someone else's joke. She mentions how someone just listens better or seems more driven. She isn't trying to hurt you. She's trying to justify the craving for something different. Another powerful sign, she becomes defensive. If you ask innocent questions about her day, her new friend, her plans, or her sudden changes, she reacts with irritation or guilt-fueled aggression. Not because you're asking the wrong thing, but because the right question pulls her closer to the truth she doesn't want to face. A woman nearing the edge of cheating is not reckless. She is conflicted, torn between loyalty and desire, comfort and excitement, safety and curiosity. She won't say it aloud, but her actions speak clearly. She's searching for a version of herself she feels she lost, and someone new might be giving her the reflection she craves. When a woman is close to cheating, the emotional disconnect becomes impossible to ignore. She stops sharing her inner world with you, not suddenly, but gradually, like a slow leak you don't notice until everything is empty. Conversations that once felt warm now feel transactional. She tells you the basics of her day, but not the feelings behind them. She laughs with others, but gives you silence. And worst of all, she stops coming to you for comfort. One of the strongest signs she's emotionally stepping out is when she starts confiding in someone else. It might begin innocently, a co-worker who understands her, a male friend who just listens, or someone she met through a new hobby. But the moment another man becomes the one who hears her frustrations, her dreams, or her arguments with you, the emotional bond between you starts cracking. Cheating rarely starts physically. It starts with a conversation that feels too good, too easy, too validating. She won't tell you she's sharing her heart somewhere else, but you will feel the distance every time she sits across from you and says less than she used to. Another sign. Her patience with you evaporates. Small mistakes become big arguments. Your jokes no longer land. Your attempts at affection feel like intrusions. She's not just annoyed with you, she's disconnected from the version of herself that loved you effortlessly. When a woman mentally checks out, she starts rewriting the story of the relationship in her mind. She focuses on what she doesn't like, what frustrates her, what she believes you no longer provide. This rewriting helps her justify drifting towards someone new. Then there's the shift in intimacy. Physical closeness becomes mechanical or disappears entirely. She stops initiating. She flinches at affection she once welcomed. You feel like you're touching a stranger. But here's the part most men miss. If she starts dressing attractively when she goes out, but seems uninterested in being intimate with you, that contrast is not an accident. It's a misplacement of desire. And finally, her energy changes. It becomes unpredictable. One day she's cold and distant. The next she's strangely kind, almost guilty. Women who are tempted to cheat often oscillate between withdrawal and overcompensation. She's trying to soothe her conscience, to act normal, to keep you from noticing what her heart is wrestling with. A woman's emotional withdrawal is not subtle. It's a quiet storm forming in slow motion. You can feel it in the pauses, the tone, the silence, the way she looks away instead of toward you. Her heart is wandering, even if her body hasn't yet. A woman nearing the edge of cheating is not reckless. She is conflicted, torn between loyalty and desire, comfort and excitement, safety and curiosity. She won't say it aloud, but her actions speak clearly. She's searching for a version of herself she feels she lost, and someone new might be giving her the reflection she craves. There's a moment, every man feels it, when her behavior stops making sense. She becomes unpredictable. Her moods swing without warning. Her affection rises and falls like a tide you can't control. And behind that chaos, there's a truth most men don't want to admit. She's comparing you to someone else. Not always consciously, but consistently. When a woman is close to cheating, she starts idealizing another man. She'll talk about him casually at first, mentioning a joke he made, a favor he did, something he said that stuck with her. She won't realize she's doing it, but her tone will betray her. It will be lighter, warmer, a little too enthusiastic. And when you notice it, when you react, she'll downplay it. He's just a friend. Don't overthink it. But she knows your gut is right. And deep down, she knows hers is leading her somewhere dangerous. Another sign is secrecy. Not blatant, but subtle. She starts guarding her phone like it's a diary. Notifications get hidden. She turns her screen away from you even when she has nothing to hide. She starts texting at odd hours and smiling at messages she never explains. And the worst part? She'll make you feel guilty for noticing it. She'll accuse you of being insecure, paranoid, controlling, because the easiest way to deflect suspicion is to shame you for having it. Then comes the shift in time. She becomes busy. She starts staying late at work. She spends more time with friends you've never met. She develops new routines that don't include you. A woman preparing to cheat always creates space first, emotional, physical, or both. And when you ask where she's been, the explanation will be just detailed enough to sound believable, but not real enough to feel true. There's also the change in her standards. Suddenly, everything you do feels wrong. She criticizes your smallest habits. She points out flaws she used to ignore. She compares your effort to an invisible standard, one that, without saying it, is being met by someone else. She's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to convince herself that she's justified in drifting away. And if she starts prioritizing her appearance in ways she never did for you, new clothes, sudden interest in the gym, more makeup, subtle changes you can feel weren't meant for your eyes, those are not coincidences. Women amplify their attractiveness when seeking new validation, not always for cheating, but always for male attention. But the biggest sign, the one most men ignore, is emotional inconsistency. She's distant, then affectionate, cold, then unusually sweet. That's not love. That's guilt wrestling with temptation. There's one truth you need to understand right now. When a woman is about to cheat, she doesn't just behave differently, she feels differently. And that shift radiates through everything she does. Her guilt becomes a shadow following her everywhere. Her desire becomes misdirected. Her peace disappears. And the relationship you once recognized begins to transform into something unfamiliar, something unstable. One of the final signs appears in how she treats your presence. Instead of seeing you as her partner, she starts seeing you as an obstacle to the excitement she's chasing. She becomes irritated by your questions, bothered by your affection, and overwhelmed by the parts of the relationship that require effort. You're not the problem, but you become the easiest thing for her to blame. That blame helps her justify what she's already planning in her mind. It makes her feel less guilty for stepping into a space she knows she shouldn't be entering. Another key sign is emotional absence, mixed with sudden, confusing kindness. Cheating, or the temptation to cheat, creates internal conflict, so she tries to soothe her conscience. She'll bring you a coffee, compliment you randomly, touch you tenderly out of nowhere, but it won't feel real. It will feel like a performance, a quiet attempt to balance the betrayal she's edging toward. Then comes the detachment from the future. She stops making plans with you. She avoids talking about trips, goals, or long-term commitments. The woman who once imagined a life beside you now keeps everything vague. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. That uncertainty isn't confusion, it's preparation. If she used to fight for the relationship but suddenly stops, that's not peace, that's resignation. Women don't stop caring out of nowhere. They stop caring when their heart is already leaning somewhere else. When she stops defending you, stops arguing, stops showing passion, she's not calm, she's gone. And finally, the most painful sign, she begins to detach from who she was with you. The version of her that loved you, admired you, needed you, that version fades. And in her place stands a woman who seems unfamiliar, harder to reach, harder to understand. She's not breaking down because she's lost. She's breaking down because she knows she's crossing a line that will change everything. If you're seeing these signs, don't panic. Pay attention. Don't beg. Observe. Don't chase. Stand firm. A woman's disloyalty is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of her choices. Now tell me in the comments, which sign hit you the hardest and why? And if this video opened your eyes, like it, subscribe, and share it with a man who needs this truth.